Welcome back to Junction 119. This is Kellan.
This is Casen.
And this is Nate.
He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Our friend, good friend, Nate Glusich. He's pumping his arms. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good. College football is back. I'm excited.
It is back. And like,
We
I
don't
don't know
just have
about,
to play the video game. We can actually watch football.
yeah, and nice are the days because the three of us are in the same online dynasty. And nice are the days that we have that back again, like a good month before the season. So like we're all charged up by this time of year. Kason, how you doing, man?
Good, good.
It's a nice time of year. Kason and I took a 2 week break after we got through the absolute slam of summer blockbusters, and we're back here for the fall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to at least mention this real quick on air. I actually had the fun time to go on a bachelor party or during this break. Went to St. Louis, and I got to go to one of the St. Louis Cardinals New York Yankees games
Oh wow.
during that
Okay.
series there. And I had the good fortune of getting to witness Aaron Judge and Cody Bellinger going a combined 0 for 9 at the plate. The Yankees still somehow winning.
You were there for that
But
game.
but uh it was a giveaway night, and so I got a Chris Carpenter bobblehead for some reason.
Hey,
I don't know why.
got the short and tell going. He's got it going. Yes, Nate is here, so you know we're talking either college football or hockey or really anything. Because Nate, we've had you on for kind of the whole trifecta of anything we're talking about. We are going to start in MLB, but I will quickly, because Nate's here, mention shout out the Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC announced in the last week a massive stadium expansion.
Oh yeah.
I am excited. I did not see that coming, but like I'm sitting here now thinking, oh wow, maybe Pittsburgh could be in the MLS or could be in MLS someday. Still a ways to go, but I mean it's certainly a commitment. So, any thoughts on that, Nate, real quick?
Oh yeah. I mean, would love to see, the jump up to the MLS. For sure. I could probably say with confidence after driving by the Hound Stadium with you a couple months ago, but that would probably be the best view in MLS or just in soccer in the US in general, just looking at the city.
Yeah,
And then just having that increased stand, that would be immaculate.
yeah. I mean it's probably about as good a view as you can have without having a whole tier over there, which I would imagine the like field seats would remain on that side for those who have that because there are seats over there, but. Yeah, go check out the renderings of that if you want to. But we really do begin today with Major League Baseball, mainly because I just kind of wanted to bounce around with this group of guys. A topic that's been kind of just bounced around the media the last like week and a half or so, and that's this conversation about Major League Baseball expanding. There's a few different cities that have been talked about, but Rob Manfred has made it clear that if an expansion were to occur, a very a highly likely, or at least considered, change to the divisions would happen. And I'm not really here to talk about any one example because have you guys seen this? Like, have you guys seen like the different things across socials of who could end up with who? I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of different ones, so I just wanted to make sure you
Yeah.
guys knew what I was talking about first.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen some of those.
And I
Yeah.
guess
It's
my go ahead, go
interesting.
ahead, Nick.
It's just interesting to see the different takes and the different thoughts of different people for sure. If the expansion goes the way that he wants, it's interesting to see who would be grouped into what and see who is correct and who's not. I mean, just not if I don't know if we're gonna talk about it, but just like thought that the New York Mets and the New York Yankees could be in the same division would be insane.
Funny enough, that's
Yeah,
probably the most cursed division I saw. It was the Mets, Yankees, Phillies, and like Red Sox, which I was like,
yeah.
that would like you'd probably unintentionally lead to the deaths of people. Like,
Yeah. There would be homicides associated with every game
I
in
mean,
that division.
like you guys remember how it used to be a slugfest every time the Dodgers and Giants fans used to like meet up each other, and there was actually really bad incidents that took place. I feel like you'd compound that by three if you did that. Like insane. Just for the record, every expansion I've seen has a new team in Nashville and a new team in Portland. Like I think Portland, Oregon, is where I'm seeing. Uh,
Hmm.
I
I've seen Charlotte
I
in a
I've seen
few
Charlotte
there's
too.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nashville's probably a good guess because there's been rumblings about Nashville with a team forever. I know there was talk, about the A's moving to Nashville or somebody getting relocated to Nashville, and so Nashville seems like probably the next likeliest option.
Having been in the Charlotte area, not the best pro sports town, but obviously that's a really good college sports area. And we've seen Nashville embrace the Predators and the Titans. I mean, that's already like more of a pro sports town. So,
I think it could be a good idea to lean into the baseball culture of like SEC territory,
okay.
like Charlotte. But who's to say if there'd be any area that maybe could sustain like their only pro sports team as like a baseball team, maybe somewhere like Mississippi, somewhere like that doesn't have a pro sports team, but like deep SEC baseball country that has consistently really good baseball teams in college, you think maybe they could be able to field support for at least that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
perpetual like College World Series college areas, like that might work. Just a thought in my head anyway.
Did you say
Yeah.
SEC baseball or ACC baseball?
SEC is what I was saying of
I agree,
like,
but you have a lot
you
of
know,
ACC baseball right there too,
yeah, that too. Yeah.
in the
I mean, as
Carolinas.
long as it's not another team in Florida, because I
Yeah.
think they've
Yeah.
gotten ample opportunities and it's just shown it does not work.
I think this
Um,
also, I think this also, like, it is surprising to me that there's only been the Braves in the Deep South for so long. The footprint of Atlanta is massive, so like I'm not really too surprised by that. But I always kind of thought, I'm like, man, like how does New Orleans not have a team? How does, like, I don't
Hmm.
know, another up and down East Coast city like a Raleigh or a Durham or something like that? Like you're telling me no one ever said, hey, let's put a ballpark here? I don't know.
Yeah.
Now I do understand that there are minor league stadiums up and down, and the economics of baseball have been up and down, and you got to assess a market. All of that's true, but I will say, you guys might disagree, agree. I'm generally okay with the division splitting up, maybe not to the degree that like I'm seeing here, but some of these regions that I've seen in some of these examples, I'm like, makes sense. Up to and including my two favorite teams being in the same division, Pirates and Orioles, that is. But like Pirates, Orioles, Cleveland is one that I've seen. Casen. For you, Nate, I've seen the Reds in a lot of the Reds and Cubs stay together, but also the White Sox and like um, Cardinals. It's just the example I'm looking at now. That's if you did all four teams, you know?
yeah, yeah. That's what I was going to ask because I was trying to look up some stuff and the one that I've seen the most is the breakups into four. But then I
Yeah.
saw one if it was just four different divisions.
Yeah.
Which one would you guys rather have? The just like the four in each, National League and American League, or would you rather just have four total divisions, like an NL Central, an AL Central, and then like an NL East, AL East, or whatever? Like, what do you guys think would work better when you add two more teams to it?
Well, Casen, you want to go ahead and answer that first?
I I know that a lot of people are getting like really hung up on the prospect or idea of maybe the leagues going away. And I think in terms of like the spirit of baseball, you kind of have to preserve that in some capacity. I mean, because it's kind of like you could maybe get away with doing something like the NFL to where they became conference instead of like leagues, and then they kind of got rid of the like pennant. I don't know. I mean, it's basically the kind of the same thing. It's just like maybe combine them. I would agree with maybe combining them of having like two per league rather than four per league.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could do a larger thing like that. I think partially you have to determine exactly how you want the playoffs to work now first before you kind of decide, okay, the division's going to work like this because like football it works with like the four divisions per conference because of the way the playoff structure works and we know it's one game each. With
Hmm.
baseball, with it being a series, you'd have to find a way for it to exist within that system. And I almost think like two per, like you said, with two with like eight would be better in the two leagues versus another, just because maybe you take out of the top four and you arrange them somehow. I don't know. Because just doing it like football, because let's be real, they are in effect two conferences now anyway. I mean, yes, they're the American and National League, but now that there's no difference, there's no DH difference. They're all in one combined Major League Baseball. So you could still call them the leagues, but they would in effect be conferences. So yeah, I guess that's my answer. I guess I agree with Casen really there, Nate.
Yeah. I was just curious because I mean I saw both, but I thought it was going to be set on like the 4 teams in each division, and that makes the most sense. But then I happened to see someone giving like a faux pas type thing on ESPN's article, and they had just the 4 total divisions. So
Now,
I don't know how I don't really know how you divide that other than just having like an East and West, and I think that's it. Like because if you're just gonna have 2 per league, you'd have to just go, I don't know, East and West, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, right. Like the East and West. I guess it sounds though like the three of us, none of us would particularly be up in arms about this. I mean, I suppose if we were any of us here were Yankees, Mets, or Philly fans, we'd probably be like, oh please God, no. We cannot have that be the reality. But otherwise, I'm like, this is
No, yeah. I mean,
needs to
I
change
think
if you're gonna do this.
we've talked a lot about the state of baseball and the MLB in general. And I think if it's done right, it could be a really good opportunity to sort of revive interest in the league and in the game. And it's all about sort of, rebalancing the league. And this could be a huge way and a huge step towards that. And I mean, if you want to get real crazy, because of the fact that like baseball doesn't really have as much of a wear and tear on teams like that, I would be here for maybe, a bit of a March Madness type of situation with baseball. Like, I'm just saying, because like you can play a lot of games in a row, because like they do in the regular season.
You're out of your
So like
mind.
you could go 3 rounds in like a weekend. And I'm just saying, like if you could get like if you could just get like half the league makes the playoff, and then it's all like in a couple different weekends. I'm just saying that could be an
Make it
interesting
best
thing.
2 out of 3 like college baseball all the way down.
oh my gosh, the
Yeah.
scenes of Dodgers or the Yankees are the 1 seed and they get upset would be
Oh,
insane.
it would be insane. That would be absolutely nuts. Final thoughts, Nate, if any.
No, I mean I'm just excited to see what does happen, especially with where they go with expansion, with all the rumored places they could go. How would the stadiums be set up, and how will the fans turn out for these newer markets? And then just seeing what they do realignment wise, playoff wise. Just, I mean, it's the MLB. They have so many games, but it would be interesting to hear people talk about it, give their takes, and just then see how it plays out.
Yeah, and I guess I'll close this by saying it's fascinating to see this be the kind of conversation when it's well documented that baseball's headed to maybe its worst labor dispute in its history within the next year and change. And it's fascinating to see this being on top of it, but it was kind of pleasant to see a realistic, a not so ugly conversation, at least in our opinion here, about something in baseball, which is, let's be real, probably like the 10th thing on the agenda, if any, maybe 20th thing on the agenda. It's like we gotta fix a lot in this game first. But yeah, I'm with you. And anytime expansions come around, it's always interesting.
I just to sort of go back to what I was saying. How about this? Okay.
Oh
You
gosh.
shorten the season. So it's basically like what the NBA is doing, but it makes more sense because it works in baseball. So you shorten the season, and then you have like a mid-season tournament, Memorial Day weekend, or like the week of Memorial Day, and it's like in its own kind of MLB Cup type of thing, like the NBA, and you end up you shorten the season to like, I don't know, 125 maybe, and then you gotta
Sure.
have a little break in there, and then that is a way of maybe adding a little bit more interest in fun into the sport, like a mid-season tournament for baseball that's like one game only, elimination, and it's just
Would
and the
you
entire league plays.
would you be interested in swapping the All-Star weekend with that? Thoughts?
Yes, I would.
Yes, really?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Yes.
I know people are iffy on
That
the
would
home
be
run
an
derby, but the
amazing
All-Star
All-Star
game.
weekend.
I feel like
Yeah.
people enjoy the All-Star game, hate the home run derby. So I was like, I didn't know how you guys felt on that, but like replacing the All-Star game with that mid-season tournament.
Yeah,
Just extend like the All-Star break to like 3 weeks, and then have that like in the middle of it, and that'd be an interesting idea.
Would
it
you have
would.
a host city, or would you still let home matchups be a thing?
You'd have to. I mean, because if you're having like 16 games happening at the same time, they'd have to be in each home place at some point.
Fair. That's fair.
You could maybe have a final in the host city of the All-Star game, but
That would be kind of cool.
like you'd have to have at least the first couple rounds be in home stadiums.
I'm going to sit here because we will table it there because honestly, like we're obviously gonna talk about more baseball before the end of the year, just all of us in general. But let us know your thoughts about any of that, any interesting alignments out there. You always usually do, because I realistically think that this could be something we're talking about as a reality within the coming 5 years or so, especially depending on when they're going to do expansion. We flip to why we're here, and that is college football in general. And I have a structure here before we go into who we think is going to win the conferences, which this is always a little bit challenging. But I did want to open the floor here to anyone's general thoughts entering this year's college football season. By the time you hear this, it's going to be Wednesday, August 27th. Week 0 has passed. Don't know if you guys got a chance to watch it. A little bit of whatever was on last weekend. I did watch a little bit of the Ireland game, most of it actually, between Kansas State and Iowa State. But what is on your mind? What's on your thoughts? What's on the forefront of your thinking coming into this year?
I'll go. I guess for me, it's a lot. It's a lot of question marks. If you have, because there are many new, and for the blue blood programs, many new starting quarterbacks, and then for like the teams that made the playoffs last year, you just still have those question marks. Penn State just still have that question mark on Drew Aller and Ken James Franklin win that big game. Clemson, I mean, they're there, but they haven't been that steady, solid program. They could be the one returning the most, but they just haven't been what they were back in the Trevor Lawrence days. And then like I said, there's just so many new starting quarterbacks at the Blue Bloods that it feels like we need a couple weeks in to see who really stands out above them all. That's kind of my main thought going into the season.
Jason, you want to go?
Yeah, my main thing is just like we're finally at the point to where a lot of the COVID extra year guys are gone. And so there's so many teams with question marks at key positions because there's not a lot of teams with, quite as much experience as we've seen before. Because, 2 years ago, everybody came back from Michigan and they were really experienced and people were like, oh, this could be the year for Michigan. And they won it. And then last year, it was kind of the same thing with Ohio State. And then this year, I think it was kind of dubbed at the end that the team in that same situation is Penn State. But again, kind of like Nate said, haven't really seen a whole lot from Drew Aller that makes us think that he's going to be able to pull that off. So if he can, I mean, that'd be great. It's just for them. It's just I don't know. A lot of questions about a lot of different teams, and I think it is again anybody's year. I mean, who knows? We saw last year that the playoff with 12 teams can get crazy at times. And so who knows?
What's interesting is that I agree with what you guys said. I will add on top of that is, we have all of this newness. I think a year ago we were sitting, look, we've got it wasn't new per se, but NI on transfer portal in the previous couple of years, and now going into this year, this was a year ago, we had the 12-team playoff. Well, we've seen what 1 year of that got us. And it got us a really incredible run by the program that's in y'all's neck of the woods right there. And it was fascinating to watch that all play out because I think the biggest thing on my mind going into this year was like, yeah, we saw a 12-team playoff, but realistically, only like 4 to 5 teams can actually win this thing. Like every year, I'm like, you're meaning to tell me that the biggest thing it felt like we learned from last year's playoff is that the great tends to very much rise in when it comes to football specifically, and it felt like that was the case because I mean we saw a handful of teams in last year's playoff that honestly looked like they just didn't even belong there. And I feel like just with the disparaging level of competition you're going to see, which theoretically, Casen and I, you and I have talked about, really all three of us have talked about how we might see that get worse or better for various reasons. Revenue sharing's on the way. But that was probably my biggest thought of, yeah, I'm excited for the college football season. I'm excited to see what my teams can do, i.e., like, the teams I root for, Bowling Green, Syracuse, Kent State, the ones that are in my circle of wanting to do well from place of work and or place of, that places I've worked before, or gone to. But it's like if you're a fan, like because Casey, you kind of are as well, and others, if you're a fan of, like, say, in Ohio State, I mean, are you thinking in terms of, okay, we're still one of the four teams that can do it? Because Ohio State is. I mean, Ohio State 4 or 5 is always going to be there. Um, but if you're a fan like me, and granted, we're all BG fans here, it's sort of like, yeah, but even if you're fighting for that as a group of six, you'd get in and get destroyed, right? So is it just going to be more of that this year? Is it going to be just, are we going to see that disparager go even
I
further to where this really is like an NFL mini 4 to 5 teams and then everyone else, or what?
I will at least say that I think it might be a little bit more level, at least as far as the first round goes.
Hmm.
If you have a situation where, because last year it was, the uh conference winners get home, get the buys,
That's right.
and that caused some like odd situations, and then it caused some weird seating disruptions and stuff. And so I think maybe if you run into a situation to where in that context, then like the winner, say Boise, is always going to be the 12, and so they're going to end up playing. What would it be, 5? They're going to be going to 5, uh, and so
Yeah, 5.
yeah, that'd be tough.
And that game probably always should be. I'm just like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
That's not. But if, as
but
long as you're going to have this, that makes sense to me. But
I'm
yeah,
just saying that like I'm thinking of situations to where like it's not always going to be the case, because like if I think of like SMU had to go to Happy Valley and they got destroyed. However, if SMU ended up somehow getting to play Indiana instead, that could have been a very different game. So I think it just kind of all depends year to year on how the seeding shakes out and how matchups end up being set up by the committee, because theoretically create at least an interesting first round, for those lower matchups. But that's at least my thought anyway.
I got you. Nate, any thoughts?
No, yeah, kind of the same, but I feel like the only thing that I keep thinking about, just referencing, the off season and obviously the big court case that came out, is are we going to start seeing, the programs that have deep pockets, are they going to start setting themselves aside, i.e. Texas Tech? Like, how well are they going to do? Like, is that going to start the next era of college football of, oh, deep pockets? Like, we got the deep pockets, we can pay people. Is that really going to transition to show, it's not just you get the veterans, the people that have done it, like in the COVID era, that have the experience. Now, are we going to, we can just buy the best talent. We're going to get to the playoff every year type deal. So
But
that's what I'm interested in.
I got you. And sorry to cut you off there. I didn't want to. I just want to say before we dive into conferences, I did send something to Case and Nate that I'll try to find and send to you as well. That was just like the next like 5 years, you're going to see something crazy. You're going to start to see the revenue sharing being disclosed, but then you're still going to have the collectives, and that's going to become the under the table money that's still going to these guys. Like I heard someone say something to the effect of, the quarterback at Texas by year 2030 could be making $10 million or something crazy, like total. You know what I mean? Which is an insane thought, but sort of like the NFL, if it goes unchecked, which the NFL is at least somewhat checked, it's like, isn't it only just going to balloon? You know?
Mhm.
That's a longer conversation. I don't want to necessarily get into all that right now. That's speculation. But um, you guys want to go down some of these conferences and just kind of say who we think, maybe not necessarily pick
Yeah.
every winner, but say who might have a shot. Case, and you're usually good at kind of like aligning the conversation of how this goes and where we should begin. So I'll let you kind of decide because we've done alphabetical order, we've done others. We could just start
Well,
with the
yeah,
Mac. We could do whatever you want.
yeah. I'd say we can just go alphabetical. I don't
Yeah,
know how you guys have your list arranged, but uh, I think that way, we can just kind of get a mix of,
yeah,
the group of five and power conferences, and then we'll end with the MAC. How about that? We'll go in
that's fine.
alphabetical and then
Yeah,
end with the MAC.
Works. That
yeah,
works.
that's great. And then we'll do the final four and champions. So
Yep.
go for it, Casen. Lead us off
All right. So in the newly rebranded American Conference, uh,
with a
I, I
mascot.
I mean, this is kind of a common theme, but like a lot of these group of five conferences, it's kind of the same old in these conferences. Whoever, is the bigger program or the biggest program in the conference. Uh, Tulane once again. I mean, it's just like it's essentially just like Tulane and like everybody else at this point.
Nate, you want to go, and then I'll circle back in.
Yeah, I mean, what Kason said, I look at the names of these teams, and some were good in the past, but at Tulane, yeah, I mean, unless
I
something
think
proves it wrong, but Tulane.
I think Navy's supposed to be good, but yeah.
That's my. I have two sleepers in the American, and I won't go too far into them. Navy, just because they seem to have found a nucleus since them and Army joined a conference. If you recall, we had a whole conversation that like we might see them meet 2 weeks in a row if they're both in the
Yeah.
American Championship, and then
That's
an Army Navy
yeah.
game, which would have been bananas. But there's one more sleeper I saw today. Not that I don't. I think Tulane is going to win it, but keep your eyes on South Florida, just because they return a lot of guys, and it's like they this points out that they have good quarterback play, but also they're in kind of an awkward place in that conference, like for late season play, like them and North Texas. Like when you go from frigid conditions in the fall down to like Florida, all of a sudden you have a little bit of that advantage, if you will. So I do think it'll be Tulane. They're not a playoff team. They won't be your group of five, but that's who I got to.
All right. Yeah. Seems like we're all on the same page with that one. All right. So moving to the ACC, we've got the first
Nice.
power conference. I think, yeah, this one we did kind of talk about a little bit, but I think this one is a bit of a return to form for Dabo and Clemson.
Your boy.
There's been a lot of rumblings about Clemson hype, and he actually embraced the transfer portal a little bit, and that kind of is ushering in a new era of Clemson. And if Klubnik can really take the next step,
Cade.
then I think they're cooking. So I got Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the most confident with Clemson. I mean, they have the veteran quarterback. Has he been what everyone thought he was coming in? No, but I think he's learned, and I think he's gotten better. So yeah, I think Clemson. I mean, everyone's going to be curious as to what North Carolina is going to do with Belichick, and can he actually coach in college? It'll be interesting to look out for. But I mean, besides that, I mean, you could look at SMU. Will they? It was last year just a flub, or can they consistently do it in the ACC? But yeah, I think Clemson will do it.
I also have Clemson, but I'll give you one more, Nate. I'll give you one more. The Miami Hurricanes, everyone is like always high on. Is this the year the U returns to form? I actually think the U is going to fall off this year because they lost Cam Ward. They didn't necessarily get. I mean, they got the transfer from Georgia, right?
Carson Beck.
They have Carson back
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
sort of going to come down to, thank you guys. It's going to come down to like, does he come right in there with their, weapons they always have, the defense? Are they going to be able to do it? I'll be real with you guys. If Clemson is the ACC's Ohio State, I look at the U as maybe Penn State. Like always supposedly going to do the thing, do something good, always pretty decent, but they completely like fall apart down the stretch. And if like it's probably not the fairest comparison to make, but you get what I mean, right? And I see some folks saying that like fringe, you got people like fringe contenders. I also see North Carolina. I will just say Syracuse, I think, will regress a little bit just because Fran, I think, had a stronger roster last year. Kyle McCord was there. They'll be a middle of the road to maybe 500 ACC team, but yeah, Clemson returns to form and maybe impresses this year. We'll see. Go ahead, Casen.
Uh, all right, so I think we're pretty much on the same page with that. Next up, probably one of the most talked about conferences, Big Ten, Big Ten. Uh, I think there's I mean it's a several team race. I think there's a lot of teams that could end up winning, and unfortunately for me, I think I'm gonna have to say I think Penn State ends up winning the
Okay,
conference.
interesting.
I think I kind of I mentioned it earlier, but like they've got probably the most returners. The if you're talking about storylines and fits the patterns, I mean Penn State kind of fits the Michigan Ohio State pattern in the last 2 years of like, okay, teams that are almost there, almost there, almost there, and then finally everybody agrees to come back, and then they have the most experience, and it's just going to come down to Drew Aller. I mean, that's as simple as that. I mean, because do they have the receivers? Can they get Drew Aller on the same page and get better? That's going to be the question.
Hey,
Yeah, this one's tough. It's really tough. Because it does kind of come down to the two. Ohio State, Penn State. And it's back to, can James Franklin win that game? And
no,
is
no,
Drew Aller that
mhm.
guy?
No love for Oregon at all out here, huh?
No, last year they had Dylan Gabriel,
Yes,
proven
they
guy.
did.
He's been around forever. This year they have a new guy, Dante Moore. Not saying he's not talented, but it's just a new question mark we haven't seen. Um, I mean, and I it's just like, and then Ohio State, you have two new coordinators. You have pretty much a whole new team besides a group of receivers that everyone knows are studs. So I don't know if I could pick one or the other because like I could do both. I could be like Casen. I mean, more or less, if it comes down to that matchup in the regular season, whoever wins that, obviously the winner will probably go on to play in the Big Ten championship. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go up against Illinois. Illinois could be this year's Indiana because they have
Yeah.
the veteran roster, easy schedule. And I know everyone's talking about
Although
Illinois.
theoretically, though, Nate, it could be a scenario to where they play each other.
Oh, that's a good. I
Like
forgot
like
about
like
that.
like, like say Penn State beats Ohio State, and then it ends up being Ohio State Penn State in Indianapolis.
Even if Illinois is undefeated.
I mean, it
I
all comes
mean,
down to those weird
would they be?
tiebreakers. You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
Yeah,
would
it's
they
those
be?
I mean, in that conference,
correct.
no one's going to be undefeated. I really think those days are over.
No.
And again, if they are some dogs, if someone enters championship week undefeated, which is very possible, right? Um, it's interesting because I could see this being a year where, I mean, Penn State was in the game last year, beat Oregon or Oregon beat them, excuse me, in a tough game in which they were like one or two plays away from potentially winning that, and then Oregon went out and got stomped by Ohio State. That's why I think there's also zero confidence in them. It's like they were
Yeah.
dispatched so badly in the Rose Bowl that it's like we need to see them again, even on the field, to remember that they're alive. But I'll tell you what, I will pick Penn State begrudgingly. I could see this being a year where like maybe Ohio State on a quote unquote down year is still able to like maybe a down-ish year from a national championship team is still able to sneak into the championship game and they win the Big Ten, but then maybe Penn State goes on the run this year in the playoff. Look for that because it's just such an odd concept where it's like you think back to last year, it's like yeah, Penn State did win the Big Ten, but then Ohio State went on the championship. So
Yeah.
I got Penn State too. So go ahead.
You know what? Screw it. I'll go Illinois. Why not? I'll be different. I'll take a shot in the dark.
Penn State over Illinois. I got Penn State over Illinois in the Big Ten
Oh wow,
championship game.
wow.
Illinois is
I'll
also
take
the dark
Illinois.
horse.
Brett Bielema, the Big Ten man.
Oski wow wow Illinois. That's how that song goes. That's awesome. All right, Casen. Is it Big 12 time?
Yes, let's get into.
I'm assuming
All
that's the
right.
other big would be next.
Yes, yes, it is the Big 12. Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, so the Big 12, as sort of a preview for everybody, the Big 12 is just like, I mean, close your eyes and throw a dart at the dartboard, and like that's going to be the winner. Like
Yep.
there's going to be like 4 or 5 teams that are like within like half a game of each other, and then like everybody else. like, and so I just said, I don't. I have questions about the big thought leading into the season was Kansas State. I Avery Johnson looks like garbage. So I don't know. I mean, I think it might be Utah's return to form here in the Big 12. So let's go Utah.
I like it.
You also forgot to mention that Avery Johnson's dad and brother fought each other.
Oh
I
well,
don't know if you heard
yes,
about that
yes.
one. So there's that. So
Hey,
the
they
worst
call
just
it
gets worse.
Farmageddon for a reason, okay?
Yeah, Big 12, like Casen said, it's kind of like throwing a dart at a dartboard and just hope you hit one of the states that a Big 12 team is in. But with I wouldn't. Why not just throw a tortilla in the air, Texas Tech? Let's just see what you can do. You spent the oil money, you spent it. Why not show what you got? I mean, if there is a year to spend money to take your conference, it is now. Now, I mean, Iowa State's probably your only big competition because Matt Campbell does Matt Campbell things all the time, and his name's at other positions every year, but he still stays. Props for that, man. Not when he was at Toledo, though. But yeah, why not throw a tortilla in the air in Jerry's world when you're playing in the Big 12 championship and raising the trophy? Go for it. Texas Tech.
If you're not familiar with what Nate's referring to, there was a Big 12 rule that was said that like I guess I didn't even know about this. And what's funny is one of the GAs we work with went to Texas Tech, and this is how we all learned about this. But yeah, there's a tortilla throwing tradition that they banned, I guess, at Texas Tech. And I'm thinking to myself, every time it's like when they banned horns down. It's like if you want something to happen a whole lot more, you ban it. Like that's the thing. So that is going to be interesting. I also think Texas Tech is going to win it this year. However, I have another sleeper to take a look at because I see them popping up a bunch. Apparently, people think that Baylor is coming back this year, and and what's interesting about it is in a year where you guys remember when the college football final way back in the Lou Holtz days used to do the ACC Wheel of Destiny, and they used to literally spin a wheel that had all the ACC teams on it, like who did good this week. I feel like it's a Big 12 Wheel of Destiny this time because I look around and I'm like, because if you recall last year, no one had Arizona State coming out of nowhere and just doing that. Hence, also shout out to Nate for going there in the college football 25 dynasty mode and destroying everybody. And I was like, how is he so good at Arizona State? Oh, that's why, because the real Arizona State's incredible.
Yeah, but I didn't get Scattaboo. If I would have had Scattaboo,
Yeah, it was after
better.
Scattaboo. That would have been amazing. But I'll pick Texas Tech, and I think that this is the year that if they can get it all together, it would be fascinating to see the Red Raiders. Since for the first time since like who Michael Crabtree was there, be that good and do some crazy stuff. And so yeah,
Now they got the Patrick Mahomes gear too, so
they do, they do. All right, Casen.
All right. So now we go back down to Group 5 here for a fun little one in Conference USA.
Yes.
So lots of options as far as just random teams who could be the cream of the crop here. I think I don't really have any reason to suspect otherwise, so I'm going to go with Liberty, who's been at the forefront of the conference for a while and is seemingly the only team in the conference that has any amount of money to spend on their players at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liberty. It's weird that they would be the ones that would be good in Conference USA, but I mean, yeah, you look at the teams; they don't really have a lot. And who would have thought a Catholic school would spend cash? You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, why not Liberty? They were talked about last year to be that Power Five to get in, and they were on the cusp. So why not this year?
This is going to be interesting, guys, because Bowling Green plays them this year. And there's a measuring stick there because we have no idea how good BG will get there. But like I also will pick Liberty. A lot of folks are saying UTEP is poised to like make a push forward, but this is I honestly minus Liberty. This has been such a forgotten about conference just in general. And it's honestly kind of become the conference. I just want to point this out where all the new FBS teams just come in because they have Missouri State and they have Delaware in there this year. Neither of those programs are going to really do anything, but in the year one, not to be expected, that might not be the case, but I'm not expecting it. No one's really expecting it. Second year for Kennesaw State. But it seems like, and of course, like Sam Houston, like it's such a random, it's the most random conference here with like seemingly I don't know. A lot of people say that the MAC, like year in and year out, is the worst football conference. I don't know. The bottom of the Conference USA is pretty bad, like every single year because of that. I mean, you mean to tell me that the worst teams in the MAC couldn't go and beat maybe the newest FBS teams? I don't know. I think they could, but
And then one more thing, because you mentioned UTEP, and I forgot that they do have that transfer from USC, Malachi
yes,
Nelson, and he got the starting job. So that's probably the biggest person they've ever had there.
yes.
So that's going to show, are they really going to ride with him? And if he's good, then they'll be good. Because I don't know how much more talent they got around him, but Malachi Nelson's a pretty big one. I mean,
And we have a similar
4 or 5
situation.
It just sounds like he's not good though.
Yeah, which
Because it sounds like he got completely washed out of USC.
there haven't been ringing endorsements yet out of there, but I agree. It's sort of like, okay, if you scale down the conference, is that guy better or is he just not good at quarterback? It's like, okay, we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah.
Casen, you ready to go?
Yeah. All right. So like we said, skipping the MAC, we'll come back to that. Going to the Mountain West.
Boom.
And there's a couple different options you could go with here because there's really only a handful of teams that I think are really in the race here. But I think, like frequently, or like many times, Boise State in the Mountain West once again is who I have.
Yeah. I mean, it's Boise State. They're they're a Power 5 team in a Group of 5 conference. And then, when they move out to the resurfacing Pac-12, then Mountain West will be wide open. So, I don't see really any other team potentially, putting up anything against Boise State, unless there's a team that just comes out of nowhere and just has a hot start. But I haven't heard of them. I mean, I would love for Hawaii to be good. And then, Dan Mullen's coming back to coaching after his hiatus. So, yeah, Boise State.
Hawaii is flying high after beating Stanford, which really isn't saying much. I mean, I know everyone tried to dog. I'm like, dude, Stanford football is like pretty dead, I would say, as far as Power 4 teams go.
Did you hear about the story about the kicker for Hawaii?
No, what happened?
So I guess he is from Japan, and when he turned 21, he watched a football game, got emphatic, had a love for kicking, so he learned how to kick from YouTube, and then he went to Hocking College, which is in Ohio, to kick there for I think 2 years. Then he transferred to Hawaii. He was there last year, and then he obviously had his game in week 0 where he made 3 kicks, including the game-winning one. So a person from Japan learned how to kick via YouTube.
Came to Ohio.
Yeah.
Then
went to Ohio. Yep.
To put it in perspective,
That's
everybody
awesome.
that I know from my school that went to Hocking went there for agribusiness. It's a farm school.
Wow.
I heard that on our local radio station, and someone said, and the first thing someone said about it was, they have football at Hocking College.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would think. Yeah, I literally would I love stories like that because quick detour. I mean, we Gardner Webb men's basketball, we had a kid from Japan on the team, but he was he wasn't traditional. He was like half Japanese, half American. It was one of those things where he had fluent English and everything. He was like a fan favorite and everything. But he was on the team, and I had Japanese press members adding them to my me mailing list for like news on the team from his like
That's cool.
hometown, and it was awesome. Like it was really really cool to have that just that connection of how sports can bring different cultures together. So um, I there is one sleeper, and not really a sleeper, but I just found this kind of list of potential sleepers. Colorado State apparently is supposed to like take a step forward, but again, I look at the Mountain West as a little bit forsaken because this is the last year it's going to look kind of like this, and then it's going to drastically change, and it's going to be like next year going into the year we're going to be like, okay, who's in the Pac-12, who's in
Yeah.
like we're going to be all over the place in terms of having to go down here and be like, okay, two conferences just completely broke apart and re-put themselves back together. It's going to be really weird, but yes, Boise State's going to take it in this final year of the traditional Pac-12 or Pac-12 Mountain West. See, I'm already getting mixed up. So
Yeah, exactly. Uh, all right. Speaking of Pac-12, we're going to the Pac-12.
we're not doing this.
Here,
Yeah, we
hold
are.
on.
Go
Let me
ahead.
find a coin. Let me find a coin really quick so I can pick my
Yeah,
winner.
pretty much flip a coin. Oregon State, Washington State, which one?
Man.
Okay. Yeah, okay. We can go ahead and move on to the SEC.
Well, timeout. Hang on here. Oregon State. There. I did it.
Yeah, Oregon State. Agreed.
I was gonna say Wazoo. Why not?
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
Why not?
Okay.
I have no idea. I'm just gonna say Wazoo.
Oh.
Why not?
The power of the chainsaws versus the power of Old Crimson. I'll tell you what. SEC time.
Yeah, SEC time. Yeah, so like the Big Ten, there's a lot of options you could go with because there's a handful of teams that I think are really going to be in competition with that top spot. But I went with Texas because I mean they're number one now and they're kind of the favorite. And I think when I look at the quarterback situations, still hasn't really proved much. But Arch is, I think, if Arch can progress and develop the way that people think he did and can, I like Arch better than the other quarterbacks in that conference.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just back to that question mark thing. Is Arch gonna be as good as people say he's gonna be? Already projecting him a number one overall pick, but we haven't seen him play in the big game. We've just seen him run a lot, is what it seems like to me. But I mean, yeah, all signs point to Texas. But I mean, I like Florida. I like DJ Lagway. I don't know why, but like every time like I would see Florida play and like they had the other quarterback in, but then I was like, just put in DJ Lagway. He's better. I like DJ Lagway, so I could see Florida, making slight moves and getting better. They kind of have to, or else the coach is gone. If you ask me, I feel like Billy Napier's on a thin edge, just from what could have been. But yeah, I mean, I'll go with Texas just because of the other talent they have.
For sleepers, you can never count out Ole Miss, although Ole Miss, the lane train always like hilariously blows up like immediately, as Casen and I have talked about on this. Speaking of potentially like coaches on the move, and I really believe this, just because this place is kind of nuts. LSU, man, like if Brent Davis cannot get that going with Garrett Nussmeier. I'm trying to see here.
Yeah.
You got Braylon Moore returns, Caden Durham and running back.
There's a lot of hype coming into the season, and if it is a flat out failure, people will not take that well.
They will not take that well, and LSU has shown in the past to be a pretty trigger happy, like let's get the next guy in here kind of place.
They fired Coach O like 2 years after he won the national championship.
And that was for more than just obviously lack of success on the field, but for that to nosedive as quick as it did. My thing about it is, man, if you don't win there or come close to winning there within like 3 years of arriving, especially when you've had success at other big programs, I'm just saying. I want to come back to Texas, though, because Texas is my loose pick as well. However, I will say this. I think that no matter what happens over the course of this year, I don't think Arch is going to look tremendously bad. That's my number one Pitt, like my number one prediction. Let me just explain that real quick. I've heard a lot of talk recently. I heard a lot of talk like about it was something about it was like another NFL preview thing, and it was like how Trevor Lawrence might actually just be bad. And with the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? And it was like you look at what that dude did through college, and he's looking worse and worse in the NFL as the league kind of gets better and time kind of exposes you. My point being, I have no idea what Arch Manning is. He's been pretty mid as far as I'm concerned so far, but he also hasn't really been the guy. I think, he trended last year, if you guys recall, because he got into the game for Quinn Ewers and everyone thought, oh, this is it. This is it. Nope. Nope. It wasn't. It was not Texas's night, even sort of. I think, though, that they're so talented as a roster on offense that he's just going to look good by simply running the offense, and they're going to be good. I think unless he has some really immaculate play, we're not going to necessarily know how good he is. You guys get what I mean? Like,
yeah, I was going to
be covered by his talent. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to add, I think Arch could look if he's good, if he truly gets the, trust from Sark to allow him to escape with his feet.
Yes.
I know Ewers didn't do that a lot. He was more, I'm just going to stay in the pocket. But if Sark's really going to give Arch that confidence that he can, if something breaks down, run, go for it. And I know I heard that every time he calls his grandfather, like every time he gets off the phone, he's like, if you can't get down, get out. Like you can't slide down, go out of bounds. Like don't take the hit. So if Arch is going to get that confidence and that trust from his coaching staff, that if something doesn't work and he can break out the pocket, if he can do that and use his feet that no other Manning has had, that's the only way he could probably potentially like really shine and get that Heisman. If he gets that, I can escape with my feet if I want to.
Thoughts, Casen, on any of that?
No, absolutely. I mean, if he can. Because we've seen that. I mean, he was kind of a special situational guy that came in last year because Quinn didn't really run like that, and so they brought him in for a couple different plays like that.
Yep.
I think even in the playoffs, and
there was like a package that he ran clearly. Yeah.
And so we've seen him do that. And so the biggest questions are the passing. Can he add a Manning level of passing accuracy and ability to those legs? And that is the big key that will determine how good Texas is. That's just the facts.
Absolutely. I mean, who knows? Like this Saturday, he might just roll to one side, throw it across his body, thread the needle between three dudes on Ohio State, and they get a touchdown. And I'm like, okay, Arch is a problem. Like this dude's real problem. And even then, I'll be like, yeah, but it's game one, But if you're going to test but it's Ohio State. Like if you're going against the teams you're probably going to see at the end of the year. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was just saying that, like, I mean, speaking of this weekend, I think winner of this game, I walks away as the Heisman favorite for the rest of the year.
Oh, was saying?
Yeah. Like Manning or saying, like, winner of the game is going to be the odds-on favorite for the Heisman.
Arch Manning and Super Saiyan?
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't know if people in Columbus call him that, but, like, that's his nickname, right? If he's good. That's what I would call him.
I really haven't heard any nicknames yet. I mean, a lot of people are doing the just saying, like,
just saying.
X is coming here, but, I'm just saying.
There's a lot you can do with saying. I'll tell you what.
All right.
Now, there is one more team that we can kind of talk about because they're not in the conference. You know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as a good transitional period, let's get into who we think is going to be Final Four. You can say maybe who your fringe playoff teams are going to be on your way in, but for the sake of time, I should think we should talk about the Final Four. Go ahead, Casen.
We did skip over the Sun Belt.
My bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And
my bad.
I don't do the MAC too.
We got to do the MAC too.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
and the MAC. Yeah.
My apologies.
I got James Madison again. It's again kind of one of those things. Kind of a toss up. I mean, there's a couple different things. Sun Belt was weird last year, with like the whole Marshall situation where
your boys.
I don't quite understand where the conference lies with that drama, but I don't know. Maybe James Madison. Who knows?
Yeah, why not? Marshall, go.
Okay.
The old coach can go pound sand at Southern Miss. It's whatever. We got a real West Virginia boy.
Yeah, that really was kind of the story of last year. I wanted to
New coach,
Find
new
here.
roster. Didn't even have enough people to play in a bowl game. Go Herd.
Yeah, that is insane. You'll have to bear with me just for a moment because I lost my train here. Yeah, this was it. Interestingly, one of the only conferences, I think maybe the only conference that still has two divisions. I honestly don't
Yes,
know the
yes,
status of.
yes. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I am gonna go with, I'm gonna go with a sleeper this year because, just because it's fascinating. I'm gonna go with Arkansas State. I see some areas where they've pulled forward, and maybe they're across the. I'm not. It's not going to be Marshall. I don't think. I don't know what their transfer situation was, Nate, either. But with that guy or whatever. But if you told me there was going to be like Arkansas State against like Coastal Carolina or App State, I'd believe that as well. Also, a team that apparently poised to do well this year is Georgia Southern. So, but yeah, I'll pick Arkansas State as sleeper.
Okay.
Brings us
All
to
right.
another monster
Brings
discussion.
to the MAC. We will go to the MAC.
The MAC,
The best conference.
So
the best conference in college football, as the
I
Sickos committee has been telling everyone
yes.
the last
Only
like 2
true
weeks.
fans. Only true fans know the
I
power of
will
the MAC.
I will begin the MAC conversation by saying when you look up people's predictions, pretty much unanimously everybody assumes that the winner of this conference will be a Rocket.
No.
And so because of that, I'm going to say Bowling Green wins the conference. Let's go. Bowling Green. Eddie George first year going to Detroit. Let's go. The Fighting Pudges. Let's go.
That would be
Yeah,
insane.
Pudgy.
Absolutely nuts. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope that rocket goes in the ground. Go in the ground. We have a billboard on your campus. Deal with it. Bowling Green all the way. Let's go, Eddie George. It's going to be freaking popping. It's Ohio's second favorite team.
Listen. Let me give some actual analyzing, and then then I'll just pick Bowling Green.
There's no need. There's no need. The MAC I'm gonna in Bowling Green.
I'm gonna analyze why I think it could go to BG. We have no idea what to expect from Eddie George team. We lost a lot, but we also have a lot. Dude, Drew Pine, he transferred from Notre Dame, correct? My thing is
Notre Dame and Mizzou.
And Mizzou, that's right. He went to Mizzou, and then there's this could be a situation to where he was at Power 4, and now he's coming down. And is this the playing scape where he just lights everyone up? I mean, if we have really good quarterback play, I could definitely see this as the year where, like, yeah, maybe James Kanapke, yeah, maybe some other guys, but then Matt Johnson just goes in and we were like unbeatable. Like, I really think like that whole weird period of time that we saw when we were in college, Nate, like right before you were there, Casen, where we went from Matt Shields, who was pretty solid, to we didn't know who our quarterback was, to then Matt Johnson just took us all the way. And then, of course, the only reason we didn't get that again is because he got hurt and we had the next year. I really think that like that could be this situation. Like if he's really good, BG could be really, really good. And if he's not as good, we could be like a 6-6 team where we're still making a bowl game in his first year. So I also will pick BG. I have, to go along with it. I'm going to be there for our guys. Absolutely. There's one sleeper, Buffalo. I think Buffalo is poised to take a step forward this year as well. They return a lot on defense, and they were really clicking on the way at the end of last season, and they didn't lose hardly anything. So they could be your sleeper to win the conference. And based on what I do for work, I'll actually get a pretty early look at them here. So yeah. Toledo. No, Toledo's not winning it. No. It's going to be Bowling Green.
Yeah, absolutely.
You thought I was going to say like, no, it's going to be Miami or something. No, no, I wasn't going to do that.
Hey, as long as Northern Illinois just, leaves on a sour taste, I want them to do bad. If you're going to leave us, good riddance.
This is going to be a fascinating year in the Mid-American Conference because we get the final year of the NIU, first year of UMass, and that goes across sports. That's going to be interesting. And trust me, we've had conversations and will have conversations about that. You got everything from, and I'll just say real quick, you got everything from, well, they're not as great at football to a Final Four team just entered the MAC in field hockey. So that's just the kind of stuff that the fluctuation there. That's just the wildness of realignment, even at our level. So sorry, I tried to jump the gun. Now we can talk about the
no.
I apologize.
Yes. Sorry.
I apologize for that.
All right. So you did kind of also bring them up. So let's just kind of have a brief conversation about how we view them in general.
The
Notre
runners
Dame.
up from last year, Marcus Freeman and the boys.
Notre Dame. I look. I think Notre Dame will be good. I like him to make the playoff. It's just I don't think they're going to be back in the championship game. So I mean, I would say top 15 team, sure, is where I would put them.
Especially not with the new seating. Like I think the
Yeah.
seating really helped
Yes.
them out and pushed them down a different path because it was just with how the last two conference champions kind of played out, it just kind of it sat in their favor. I think with the updated formatting of it doesn't matter if you win your conference or not. The top four teams are going to get a bye. It's not going to help Notre Dame because they don't have that conference championship to push them forward. They would have to literally play perfect, and we know that never happens.
Yeah, especially because they've got a new quarterback to break in, and so who knows what's going to happen with that. And so it could be interesting if you have like a number 10 Notre Dame on the road somewhere, and then who knows what that looks like.
I will quickly rattle off their schedule for you boys. At Miami, number 10. Versus home against Texas A&M, home against Purdue, at Arkansas, home against Boise State, okay, home against NC State, home against USC. USC is not a pushover this year. At Boston College, home against Navy, at Pitt, home against Syracuse, at Stanford. They are not going undefeated. In fact, I can see a couple of losses in there, maybe 3. I really, really can.
I was literally thinking these.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
Like I could see them. Hey, if they beat Miami, Texas A&M, Purdue, okay, whatever. They slip up on the road at Arkansas. That may be a trip up. I can see Boise State being the team that, and I used them this year. Like that would absolutely be something. I didn't realize that they were there. USC could beat them. Pitt, and Syracuse could mess around and do it. So,
see, I was thinking Navy could be the NIU. Navy could NIU them.
Navy could definitely NIU them because. Navy's weird to play against, and if there's anything I've learned from College Football 26 is that a good Navy team is actually terrifying, like really terrifying, because you're never gonna like if they actually get the option going, there's nothing you can do to stop them. So we all agree on that. They're going to make the playoff. Be shocked if they didn't. They could be a 2 to 3 loss team this year simply by the way things shake out. All right. That being said, go for it.
All right. Do we want to just announce all 4 together, or go? How do we want to do this? We'll just go around. I'll just go 4 to 1, and then we'll just kind of go around and
go
talk
for
about
it.
that. All
then
right.
We'll wrap it up.
So, my number 4, I've got Texas.
Okay.
My number 3, I've got Ohio State.
All right.
My number 2, Clemson. Number 1, Pennsylvania State University. So that would then lead up the semifinals of Penn State, Texas, and Ohio State, Clemson.
Okay.
Interesting.
And with that, we'll come back around. I think championship picks. So I'll go Nate.
Yeah. I could see Texas at 4. I can agree with Texas at 4. They'll be the SEC champ for sure. Especially, after Arch gets a few of those games, like they could get that 1 loss, but then obviously going forward.
I think in my head, I had Ohio State beating Texas and losing to Penn State is, I think, in my head where that kind of played out.
Gotcha. Yeah, I could see Clemson at 3. I can see the Clemson at 3. Penn State probably 2, and then I could also see 1 just being another. Well, actually, the way I have it, let's flip Texas to 1. I could see an Alabama, Georgia at 4, just like get that second SEC team in there. Because
we didn't even touch on them earlier, but yeah.
Ohio State's weird they could technically lose 2 games because the Michigan thing is always going to loom over their head just constantly. So I could see them still making the playoffs, just not being that top 4, but I could see 2 SECs making it just because, they have those fresh new quarterbacks, but they always have that talent and that coaching experience. So I could see 4 Georgia, 3 Clemson, 2 Penn State, Texas 1.
I like this is interesting because the projection I'm looking at here that I'm going to kind of alter does have Georgia and Alabama in it, but they're both first round teams. I tend to agree with that. Because for me, barring it all goes well, I think Texas is 1. Okay. I'm going to put Penn State at 2. I'll put, just probably giving them too much credit. I'll give Clemson the 3. And the 4 is where it's tough for me. But, 4 is where I'll put like an Alabama or Georgia. Because I really think that like if what I just kind of said comes to pass with Notre Dame, they're not going to be a 4 seed. They're going to be the outside looking in, and who knows? Maybe they'll go on the Ohio State type run this year. We could see that happen again. But I feel better putting like out Ohio or Texas opposite a rematch in the SEC, which who knows if they would necessarily want to do that. But if we play that in, that's what would happen here. So that's who I got. And champion this year, guys. I mean, what are you thinking? Last year we were on the show. We had a panel that picked Ohio State, and they were right. You know,
yeah. So again, like I said, I'm gonna have Penn State versus Texas and Ohio State versus Clemson. With that, I mean, I think I said it last year. I've got Penn State versus Ohio State. And I think
it'd be something.
Like I said, pending Drew Aller, I've got Penn State because you a lot of the time go to the team that's the hungriest, that's been clamoring for that win. And Penn State, I think, is in the position to really drive themselves with the hunger for being so close and almost there so many times. And they're just going to have to execute and play well. But they've got the talent to do it. They've got the drive and desire to do it. So we just have to see how that plays out on the field.
Yeah, as much as I want to see a Big Ten team do it again, there's just too many question marks in my head at this point in time. So I'll probably go. It will probably end up being Texas, Clemson, the 1 and 3. So the battle of the oranges. So that's going to be a great crowd to look at, bright orange. And I'll probably go with Texas just because of the talent outside of quarterback that we all know they have.
So in my situation, mine would be the kind of best of the Big Ten and the best of the SEC on mine. Because it would be 1 Texas versus like say Georgia and the 4. I think Texas wins that. For me, it would be Ohio State and Penn State in that instead of in the championship game, it would be them in the semi, which, I mean, they knowing the committee, they would probably try to mix that up so that doesn't happen within conference on the way in. But I have Texas and Penn State in the championship game. If that was the situation for my guys back home, I'd be pulling for Penn State, but I'm going Texas if that happens. If they've gotten to the end of the line there, it's either going to be Franklin and Drew Aller finally get it done or the arrival of Arch Manning. I think it's more likely to be the arrival of Arch Manning, with Penn State having taken, as Casen said, 1 more step closer, but they don't quite do it. and that's the way I think things are going to lie this year. I have said to my guys from home that Penn State's my sleeper to win, not sleeper. Penn State's going to be right there at the end of the year, and I think they've come back and every time and have said, yeah, but Drew Aller though. Yeah, but like, when it comes not even Franklin. They were like, yeah, but Drew Aller though. Like, it just he couldn't quite get it done in the Big Ten, or did get done in the Big Ten title game. He could not get it done. Rather, keep flipping that in my head, and then that happened. So we'll see. But that's what we got. That's the preview. I'm gonna try to write those down because it's been really fun to do. But Nate, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me. Can I end it with one last question just for the two of you?
Yeah, I guess break that down.
Yeah.
If Texas goes on to win it all, does Arch go into the draft or does he stay another year?
That is a good question. That is a really good question. Because I guess I made more arguments in this show that he would not make that step forward. Yeah. And like, honestly, if Texas loses, you guarantee he's back for sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah. I would agree. I mean, I think basically it's like if they win it, yeah, sure, he'll go to the draft.
Yeah.
Because that would mean he's good enough to go to the draft. But, if they don't and he doesn't look first overall pick worthy, then no way.
Mm-mm. Either scenario, Nate, to answer your question, either scenario, we will soon find out whether or not it was really Arch who won that natty, or if it was all of Texas. Which reality, it's always a team effort. But it goes back
Right.
to what I was saying. I think he's going to be able to hide a bit in the talent. But if he
Yeah.
still stands out among that talent, well, then we'll have our answer for sure.
Yeah, that's what that first game's really going to show you is how good is the talent around these two rookie quarterbacks, quote unquote rookie. I know Arch had a few starts, but the rookies. Like how good is the talent around them, and or can they show that they have talent as well? It just helps that they have a Jeremiah Smith or
Absolutely
talented running backs and stuff. So.
Before we wrap up the showcase, is there any particular shout out you want to give based on anything that happened today? Anything newsworthy? Anything
Yeah,
that
yeah,
anything that I got everything from a USA Today alert to
yeah.
to like CNN, whatever your CNN, Fox News alert of ESPN notification. Everything on planet Earth notified me about this today, including like 5 people in the hallway I work in. You want to talk about that at all?
I I guess I would just like to say congrats to my boy Trav for almost being a billionaire now. Like I saw somebody tweet that prenup's about to be longer than a book he's ever read.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. We went from I couldn't think something to not talk about New Heights to as soon as someone in my hallway said that, I was like, oh dear God. It's about to be an avalanche everywhere.
Yeah.
I will say to you guys, because the perfect way to sign this off. Best meme I saw today was the two of them, Travis and Taylor, and it was just the Mac. It said us Maction.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my favorite one today.
That is good.
I was like, print it out, hang it up. There it is.
I did get a good laugh from New Heights when they posted theirs. It was like of Travis like on a knee, they're kissing, and then you just see Jason with no shirt off, like someone across him with a beer.
I saw just that him dancing with the Irish suit on, like just going crazy. It's like Jason at the wedding. I'm like, Jason probably right now. You guys.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's great. Nate, thank you so much for joining us, brother.
Thank you for having me,
Thanks.
And thank you so much, everyone, for watching, listening. Let us know your college football picks. Do you agree with us, disagree with us? One way or another, it's good to have it back. And I know you guys would all agree with me as well. That being said, this is Kellan.
This is Casen.
And this is Nate.
And we'll see you, as always, at the next stop.